Morning. It's Monday, May 25th, Memorial Day. 40 years ago, I think on yesterday, the Islanders won their first Stanley Cup. I bet you don't know too many people that have a net cup named after them. But I actually do have a cup named after me. But that's a whole other story. So, I want to talk today about the travel industry a little bit. You know, the airlines and the cruise ships, they made a big deal out of all the trouble they were in because of the pandemic. But you know what another piece of the puzzle is? The automobile rental business. So I find out yesterday, I guess, that Hertz has gone bankrupt. Hertz Rent-A-Car. Now, Avis, who always said we try harder, hasn't gone bankrupt. But Hertz has. They have laid off 16,000 people. And plus they have tons of unused cars lying around. And of course, as is usual in these cases, the CEO of the company walked away with a $9 million package. So what else is new? So, it's a casualty, and nobody mentioned them. So I figured it was worth mentioning this morning. It wasn't totally because of the pandemic. They have been in trouble for a number of years. They haven't made money in the last 4 years. And the competition out there has been tough. You've got Uber and Lyft, and they didn't adjust to that. Uber and Lyft, people get on their cell phone, and they call up and they get a car right away. They don't have to go through a whole bunch of paperwork and stuff. So when you look at the whole picture, they were just late to the game and the current technology and everything, and they suffered for it. And I don't know what's going to happen now. I don't know whether they'll recover, whether they'll be able to adjust. Maybe they'll downsize and figure out a way to stay in business. But anyhow, it's an example of, what shall I call it, complacency. You got a good business and you don't pay attention to what's going on around you and you don't stay up with the times. And before you know it, something disastrous like a pandemic comes along and just pushes you over the cliff. That's a lesson to be learned. But there are plenty of businesses out there that haven't learned it and will not learn it because they get focused in their narrow little vision of the world. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And what could be a more perfect time than to talk about being cooped up for 8 or 9 weeks and how that's affecting your mental health? I think we're very fortunate in that those of us who are members of the Y at least have some Zooming we can do. Every day almost there's another Zoom that we can attend and we see friendly faces on the screen in front of us. But there's a lot of people that don't have that. A lot of people are cooped up and they're afraid to go out. Or maybe they go out for a walk every day. So I don't know what really helps people. But I know social contact helps people. And I know going out for a walk and a little bit of exercise helps you. And I'm wondering how many of you feel about it. So if you want to comment on what you've been doing, I would appreciate that. I'd be happy to answer all the comments. I think one of the things that has kept me going during this trying time is just putting together these daily rants. Now, a daily rant takes 3 or 4 hours to prepare. First, I have to research to see what's going on in the world. It's not a difficult thing to do. 90% of what they tell me is pandemic related. So I have to search for other topics that pop up. And I find them, and I write about them. And then, of course, I have people who disagree with me, and I get comments from them, so then I respond to those people, and that's a very good thing. I appreciate the fact that people don't agree with me, because sometimes I say some things that are extremely controversial. But in any event, so the ranting helps me a lot. Then I try to read. I always have a book available to read. And then I do a little bit of cooking. Cooking is an exciting adventure sometimes, because I march off to the store to get out of the house for a little bit. Gertrude doesn't like to go with me on these little trips. Then I go out of the house and I wander through the supermarket for about 10 or 15 minutes and I find some stuff that might be on sale or some vegetables I think I need, and I take them home. And then I search the web. I got a ton of cookbooks in the kitchen, but I still search the web for recipes. Then I find a recipe. And then I spend an hour or an hour and a half in the kitchen cutting vegetables and making a sauce or something, and I end up cooking something that sometimes comes out great and sometimes sucks. I made a noodle kugel that was terrific, and I made some salmon the other night with a honey sauce that didn't come out as well as it should have. So those are the little things that I'm doing to keep myself from going nuts. But I think the most important thing is to maintain certain contact and have somebody to talk to. So I hope you appreciate my rants. If not, that's fine too. I appreciate your comments. I'm always willing to respond to them. And I hope I see most of you Zooming, because that's very good when I see some smiling faces. Sometimes I see people eating while we're Zooming, and sometimes I see people nodding off while we're Zooming. But at least I know you're all alive and well. So have a great Memorial Day. And I want to thank all of you who are veterans, because without you, this country wouldn't be what it is. So that's all, and I will see you tomorrow.